I'm gonna need you to come closer for this one. If you cannot or have not decided on what you want out of life as it pertains to like how you make a living, and that other part, living, if you're not living in the process, it will be decided for you. And you're probably thinking that's a little aggressive. Like, what do you mean by that? Is that you're probably building someone else's dream during your 9 to 5. And I've been there, so I totally understand. But I left about a year ago, and I'm about to show you step by step how I escaped the 9 to 5, earn financial freedom, and how you can do it too. This is going to be a little different, and it's actually a whiteboard session. So I am going to be showing you exactly on my whiteboard, as well as some screen shares from my computer to set you up. So this is super interactive. Grab a notebook or piece of paper and a pen and get ready to take some notes.
You think you're funny, do you? Funny.
All right, I want to first introduce you to the Freedom Pyramid. Okay, you see it's labeled 1 through 4. There's 4 major blocks we need to talk about before you just up and leave your job. So let's get into it. Our foundation, the absolute base of all we do, is going to be financial prep. So that makes sense, right? This is all of the money stuff. How the heck are you gonna pay your bills? So you think about this. The internet tells you when you look it up that you need to save around 3 to 6 months worth of savings. I say go absolutely bigger. If your job is not ruining your life, why not build a cushion of 12 or more months? This is exactly what I did. I saved up 12 months. So my corporate job, it was not a bad paying job, but I didn't enjoy the process, right? Like it stopped being the place for me. There was no ladder to success. Like where I was at was where I was going to stay for the rest of forever until I decided to bounce. So, and that's from me. You have to really look at yourself and understand why you're doing this so that you're able to really come up with that 12 months. Like if you don't, like I said, if you don't absolutely hate your life, 12 months should be absolutely doable so that you can have that cushion, because you're not just quitting your job and like not paying your bills, right? You got kids, you got a mortgage or rent. Do you live in a high cost area? You're going to need more. If you have medical bills or prescriptions that you're always getting, you are going to need more. And not to mention, life happens. I just had to get my car, 4 new tires and all the 100K mileage stuff. That is money. You need more. You don't just need to think about your standard things. So I'm gonna show you in a little bit a spreadsheet that I use and kind of walk you through how I budgeted, how I financially prepare. But there's other things to think about here too, and that's insurance. If you're working for yourself, you kind of forget like, oh crap, like how am I going to get myself taken care of? So for me, that was the VA. So if you are a veteran, make sure you do that. But again, you have a child, right? So unless you're, there's certain extenuating circumstances where you can get your kids taken care of too, but you have to look into those options. And I am not an insurance or like healthcare specialist, so I'm not gonna dive into that, but put this on your notes that you need to look into this, because that is absolutely very imperative for the health and well-being of your family. So think about, rent or a mortgage, car expenses, your phone, utilities, did I spell that right? I think I did. Yep. So you need to be, tracking monthly and all these different things, but really just take this time as you're saving this 12 months to lay out all of these different expenses that you have. This is a great time to do a clean sweep of everything you're paying for, right? So are you going to Starbucks every single day before work? So here's a little example for you. Let's say you go to Starbucks every morning and get, let's call it even. We know it's not exactly $5, but let's call it $5, right? So that's $25 a week, which equals $100 a month. And that's not including the little brownies and croissants and all the little cake pops and things like that. Some people actually spend $500 a month without even knowing it because of the meals. You add a meal to it or all these other things, you're looking at $11, $15, $20 sometimes if you have added things in your coffee. So this is just like one way of thinking about it. So do that with every expense. Open up your apps, look through your bank, and do an expense audit for yourself. Before even making a budget, an expense audit. Where is your money currently going? What can go away? All the subscriptions. Do you need Hulu, Netflix, all these different things? And again, I'm speaking to the people who don't have, the paycheck that will carry on to them just quitting their job in a month or two, right? The people that truly use their paycheck to paycheck. Okay, if you are paycheck to paycheck, this is especially for you to do that expense audit and see what you can filter out, what subscriptions do you have on your phone that you forgot about, and then make different software for it. But the best thing is go to your bank, your credit card statements, see what you've been spending on, and eliminate it, okay? Don't go buying a new car, all these fancy like big expenses. Like my car I've had since 2018 and that girl is riding. She's a Toyota Camry, greatest thing ever. Is it the hottest car on the block? No, it is not, but she is reliable and has been everywhere with me for 134,000 miles of my life, and I love her for it. So yeah, we're gonna get into the nitty gritty of the spreadsheet. Spending. Or you can look through the templates on Google Sheets or Excel, whatever you have, or you can generate one yourself. Okay, so what you're going to see here is, first of all, March. You should be doing this monthly. Put it onto your Google Calendar, and we'll be talking about that soon when it comes to time blocking. Understand your actual income per month. We're just calling this 5,000 for the sake of math. Okay, so figure out all your different sources of income. If you have multiple, if you just have one, makes it easy, but also realize if you get paid bi-weekly or weekly, just calculate what you made like last month to kind of plan for the next month, especially if it's pretty much the same number. If you get paid differently, it's going to be different, but it's still good to know where your expenses are and your total spending per month. So you're going to see two major things. You see fixed expenses and flexible expenses. So fixed are your things like rent, water, gas, all the things that you pay monthly and don't usually change all of the time. Your flexible spending are like, food and groceries, because you don't normally spend the same amount every single time you go. But it's also, flexible also means things that you don't necessarily need to do that you did spend on. So how much did you spend on alcohol or your subscriptions, personal care items, things like that. So what we're going to do is start plugging in some random numbers just to give an idea. So let's say rent is $1,200, insurance I paid, $100. Let's say I paid $50 here, $100 here. And again, I'm just putting numbers in for the sake of the sake. Okay. So you're going to start seeing that in the bottom right, we're at $1,755. So I'm just plugging in numbers and it's calculating it for me, which is really nice. And if you even want to check like, okay, I paid this one this month, I paid this one. Oh, I put $5. Dang, that's a cheap gas bill. So anyway, so our 1,800 even, look at that. How beautiful. So now at this point, when you go through, open all your bank statements and just start going through all of these different expenses that you see reoccurring. And that's going to be your fixed expenses. And then start plugging in, some other things like, hey, after the month is over, you go, I ended up spending 200 here. I spent 30 here. Maybe you went out with work or something. Gas is on the flexible side. You're probably thinking like, I need to pay gas all the time, but sometimes you don't drive as much, right? So maybe this month you only spent $50 on gas. Maybe you need new glasses. There's another $100 right here. So now let's say you have gone through and done all of your fixed expenses and all your flexible expenses, and you're at $2,180 of that $5,000 income. So at this point, you're going to audit the right-hand side, the flexible expenses, to see where is wasteful money going and what can you cut out, or maybe groceries you didn't need to spend on, extra snacks or something. Maybe you can just have more whole meals. There's just different things you can do. This is where you're going to do the majority of your auditing, is what types of things like streaming and subscriptions can I eliminate, because they can add up. So go through everything you have, your phone, all of your bank accounts, see where your money is going, because this number at the end of the day, the remainder that you did not spend is what you can put away to secure your freedom ticket out of your 9-to-5. As a note, cutting back is not deprivation. It is reclaiming control over your money, what's going in and how much is going out to things that maybe we don't even use or even realize that we're doing. Just being smarter with our money, especially if we're very, very committed, and that's the key, committed to exiting. So the last little piece about this is, I don't really want to call it side hustling, but you can do that at the same time, because that's exactly what I did. I started coaching clients online before I actually left my job. And so I planned on doing that full time. And about 2 weeks before I dropped my resignation letter, I fired myself on a Friday for real. And before that, I had actually been offered a side, like part-time gig with a nonprofit on the social media generation side. It's since grown into something so much bigger and amazing, but it started with that. And that also allowed me a cushion and just another sign from the universe that like, this is the right thing in the right time. So please be looking for other sources And don't be afraid of part-time remote work, because again, the goal isn't just to leave with no income. The goal is autonomy. The goal is freedom. All right, we are now on step 2 of this process, and it is productivity and workflow. So we're gonna write that down here, productivity. I'm trying not to smudge anything. That's why my handwriting is a little crazy. So, and workflow. Because remember, money is great, but financial freedom and the financial prep right there without time management is just another job. You need to learn how to manage your time. So the 9-to-5 trap isn't just about money, it's about losing control of your time. When you work for yourself, you have to create your own structure or risk just more grind, right? And you're risking burning out, and we don't want anyone to burn out. The first things I like to do is time blocking. Now, I've been doing this right before I left my job. I learned about this concept. I know I've heard it a bunch of times. You know, you hear about productivity methods and this and that, but I live by this. And what I use is my Google Calendar. That is the easiest way to do it. So my calendar, especially since I share my calendar with clients and people that I work with on other sides, I'm able to block in time, and I will cut to showing you that as well. So this is where you're going to put in content work, if that's what you're doing, like film days. Like this film day right now is on my calendar. I have time blocked this slot out so that no one can book me, and I'm not bothered. I am not expected to answer anything. So I use Google Calendar for that. This is all. I also put my gym workouts in there. If I want to go on a run 3 times a week, because that's part of my goals and sanity, that goes into my Google Calendar, every appointment, everything. And if it doesn't exist on my calendar, it doesn't exist in real life. So I'm really big on that one. So the breakdown of time block is that, you know, you're making money work, skill building and growth, life, self-care, admin, busy work, everything, you name it, goes onto that schedule. So have you ever heard of the CEO Monday rule? It's plan your week in advance and set your top 3 priorities. So that's another little tip there, is that every Monday is when I batch content for the most part, especially for other clients, since I do manage social media for other people. So if this is the case, I make sure to batch on that day. I list out my priorities. I live by a notebook still, as well as my Google Calendar, so that I make sure I can check things off. And you can use like a highlighter or a Sharpie or a different color. That way you also have that sense of accomplishment when you're able to check something off your list of what you're trying to do. And another thing I like to build into this are my goals. Set them weekly, monthly, yearly. If you don't do a vision board, I highly recommend you do one. And just because it's not January does not mean you can't have a vision board and big goals for the year. Make one now. And drop in the comments if you would like me to make like a vision board video, and I'll show you my exact vision board, and I'll show you the one that I had from last year where it said quit my job on there, and I actually did it. So pretty awesome. Owning your time is owning your life. Drop a comment below with how much time you think you waste per week, and that's gonna get me to my next point. So the next one is going to be just an action step for you. And what you're going to do is you are going to find the hidden space within your schedule that you're wasting. Scrolling on social media, watching TV, going out and not being productive. Because again, if you are serious about this life, if you are absolutely committed to this idea of living as a free person, and you're taking this freedom pyramid seriously, then your actions are going to reflect that. You are going to do what it takes, because trust me, in 6 months of being absolutely consistent, you're going to see a change. Are you going to be a millionaire in 6 months? I don't know, maybe. Nothing's impossible. But the thing is, it's time after time. When you do seemingly meaningless or monotonous things over a long period of time, beautiful things happen. And that was me reverberating something I read in the 5 a.m. Club. Highly recommend reading that one, because the morning time is when you are the most clear. That is when the rest of the world is asleep, and you're able to be your most productive self. And I told you I was going to show you how I do time blocking. So time is money. The 9-to-5 trap isn't just about money, though. It's about losing control of your time. So when you work for yourself, you have to create your own structure or risk burning out. Financial freedom without time management is just another version of the hustle, like we said. So time blocking, if it's not scheduled, it doesn't exist, okay? So money making work, client projects, content creation. As you can see on Fridays, I do a full film day. I also work my research in and website backend stuff on Tuesday. I also do brand content on Wednesday, which means this is my personal stuff. Others are client works. purple, I put in meetings. So you can change colors too. Like when I have podcasts for a client due, I make sure that it's uploaded for this day and that there's reminders set. So when you click on something, like you can set reminders, all these different things. Personal appointments, I put in a different color. Like I had to get, an oil change. Okay, cool. I even work in my fitness. Okay. So the biggest thing about this is that's self-care. It is my personal time. I make sure I block this time off after I drop my son off at school. I head to the gym and I give myself until 8:45 to finish my workout. And then you can see I also put in red my other workouts that I like to do. I want to be able to run 3 times a week. So I put that in the afternoon so that I can get the bulk of my work done. But again, this gives you a flow. Okay, basically this time block means no one can book you during these times. You can hold these as boundaries for yourself because not only will your phone, go off when one of these things comes up, like, hey, 10 minutes before 9, I'm going to get a brand content day to remind myself, or hey, don't forget to run at 12:50. It's going to remind me that at 1 o'clock I committed to this. And everything in here matters, and it's super simple. So you have your admin and busy work. So I have meetings here, slides that I have to do every week I put here, as well as I content batch for my clients every Monday. And if I can get more than 1 week worth, a week's worth, that's awesome. But this is the time that I do it, and I've blocked out for doing it. So how I created more time while still working full time. So track a full week, find where you waste time every second. So look through your days. Once you've done a mini time block, okay, this is when I go to work, or this is when I drop my kids off at school or daycare, like every little thing that you do every single day, because the pop-ups, like, the car services and other things, like maybe you're getting a new roof on or something like that, like those are going to pop up, but put everything 100% about, and then start plugging in your brand content days, your schedule, batching, however you need to do it. I do that all in one day for a client, and then I do mine on 2 different days during the week because there's a lot more to it. But track a full week, find where you waste time, high value things, like you're going to want to cut the low value tasks. That's like over planning, unnecessary emails, doom scrolling on social media, going out and doing crazy things that you don't need to, shopping sprees, you name it. High value tasks is going to be your sales, your content builds, lead generation, all those different things. If you need to, use Calendly for scheduling, but you also have access with Google to Google Meet. And you can also schedule people on here for Google Meet without having to pay anything if you already have a Google account. Next, and probably one of my favorite, is number 3. And this is, again, without smudging, fitness and energy management. Okay? I know that looks really super crazy, but this is like one of my favorite ones. And why? Even as a founder and an entrepreneur, I always make sure there is time for fitness. Fitness is a discipline multiplier. Not only are you working on longevity and optimizing your overall health, which I think everyone can benefit from, you are becoming a more productive person. You are leaning into discipline. You don't get rich just to be out of shape and miserable, right? So why not be fit? Why not look your best? When you think of or look up the top CEOs or super successful people, they're usually in relatively good shape. They take care of their body because they have the discipline to eat the right things, maybe not overconsume alcohol, and just move their body. Even if that's a walk, I'm not saying you need to go bulk and get on a stage, but taking care of your body, it is discipline because you're not always going to be motivated. And trust me, being an entrepreneur, there are some days where you are just dragging your feet, right? Because it's hard work. You sometimes have to go out and find clients. There's like so many different things, but what I know I can count on every single week is I will get fitness in. I will go to the gym 5 times a week and I'll run 3 times a week. Like I know for a fact because I time blocked, it's on my calendar, and it is one of the most important parts of my financial freedom pyramid. So have I hit burnout before? Yes, of course. Of course I've hit burnout. But fitness, being in the gym, some people just work out at home, whatever it is for you, moving my body is therapy for me. That is how I manage my stress. I also wear a Whoop band if you're interested. I got a link below just for fun. Nothing that I talk about here I'm sponsored by because I would definitely give a shout out. But It helps me manage my stress and my sleep and all the different things. When I move, I know how hard I've worked. It tells me like when I need to take a break because I'm stressed out, or it can tell that, I didn't get enough recovery. So the point in me saying that here is that the burnout is absolutely real. When you overload your plate, when you're just super overwhelmed with everything happening, it's good to come back to something like fitness. Like, I know that the meals I'm gonna have are, nutrition for my body, and that I'm putting the right things in my body. And at the same time, when I move it, again, it's therapy for me. Why do most entrepreneurs burn out? Well, there's a million reasons for everybody, right? But for me, when I hit it, it was because I was saying yes to too many things, not able to say no. And that is such an important thing to learn as an entrepreneur, is that it's okay to say no, especially if something doesn't serve you. If your energy isn't there, if you don't have the time for it, like, look at your calendar. This is why we're doing this. Find that white space and make sure you're not taking away from what fuels you. So that's the biggest way that I avoid burnout. Is I know, like, this literally happened yesterday. I had a meeting that went way longer than it was supposed to. I'd already hit the gym in the morning, but I committed to a run, and I knew that that was going to be a mentally clearing thing. So instead of just jumping right back on after sitting in a chair for 3 hours, I decided to go on a run and then go pick up my son from school and then get back to the grind. Because you're giving up a 9 to 5, mind you, to work 24/7. But there is still a cap on that. You've got to have some kind of hours of operation. Doesn't mean you're not going to be working past those hours, but make sure your phone is turned off, that you have some kind of boundary for yourself. Boundaries are so incredibly important, and I don't think we talk about them enough. And your boundaries with your personal, if things start diving into your personal wellness, like if you're not able to take care of yourself in the way that you need to and go on a walk to clear your head, or just to stay in shape and stay healthy, then that's not serving you anymore. And eventually that is going to lead to burnout. Financial freedom is not just about quitting, it is about making money on your own terms. And that brings me to the top of the pyramid. And we got, it's not gonna fit, so securing income, like income streams, we can say, right? Because it's not usually just one. And adapting. So there's a few different things here. So this is what's really important here. We're gonna make some notes, is that there is a power to leveraging your existing skills. So if you're still not sure, because I'm sure a lot of you are watching this now and you're thinking like, well, what do I do? Like, you're giving me the plan, but I have no idea what to do. And I can't tell that to you. And like, I can't give you that answer, right? And I'll talk a little bit from the personal side, like my experience with that. But this is a good time to list out your skills, right? Can you work a camera? Do you do content? Have you been doing social media? Can you do social media management? Do you have friends with small businesses that need something? Is there any place that you can intern to learn? Okay, if you're like, no, and no, I think you're lying. Everyone has at least one skill. Think of also, let's call it skills and interests, right? Because again, if you're gonna be working for yourself, if you're leaving a job that I'm assuming hate, right? You don't just quit a job that you absolutely love. So I'm thinking there's a level of hate or dislike for it. What are the things that you'd rather be doing instead? And what are you willing to, you're leaving that job for this. So think about those different skills. What have you learned at that job? Okay. So leverage your existing skills to build, and find flexible income. There's networking, job boards. So I'm like networking, and I use that lightly because some networking events are different than others. But also, this is a really good time to learn, right? Learn, self-educate on the things that you are interested in. Obviously, you're leaving your job because you don't like it. So why put yourself into position to be an entrepreneur in a field that you also don't like? So that's why I always highlight interest in your skills. Because when these things meet together, when you have skills plus interest, you're going to love what you do. So find what you're really interested in, skills, and then make sure you learn and self-educate to build on those skills or potentially build new ones. I built a lot of new ones, and I'll give you a little bit of a story. So when I left, I told you that I got a nonprofit gig for social media because I'd already been on social media. That is why I was selected by someone who was within my network. So that's why networking is always going to be super important. But the thing is, they saw that I could build social media channels, and they're like, we need that. We need to bring awareness. So we'd like to bring you on board as our social media manager. It has since expanded to be marketing, email marketing, online marketing. We've had to talk to some people about ads. There's a lot of different skills that I've learned, even the back end of website building, that I didn't have before starting this. So there was a lot about that. But again, the reason I even got selected for this I interviewed for it against some other people is the fact that I had a network. And that can happen online. You don't realize when you show up on social media, that is almost like a resume, especially in the space where it's social media management or things like that. Because if you can manage your page, grow it, or do certain things with it, have really cool connections with other people, that's a job opportunity right there that you don't even know about. Thinking about your skills and interests, networking, learning, self-educating, all these different things, just keep in mind that your network might be right in front of your face and that how you show up matters. Show up often, okay? And just know that you're not gonna know probably right away exactly what you wanna do, but what piques your interest, what has been brought to your attention that might potentially be something. And then just remember, another little tip, let me put it in a different color, is start small. Start small, okay? You can start small, prove value, and expand this role over time, right? Just like exactly what I did. I proved myself and I was able to, do a lot more work for them. And that has landed in other clients because they see, where I'm working in that capacity. So usually referral base is huge. So you start to build this and you start getting referrals. You're getting referrals from your network, from social media, from your current job. You just shake hands at an event because the work that I do involves a lot of events with a lot of people, and some of them have similar needs for their business, right? So just think about that. Being valuable. Value is the most important thing. I hope this is valuable. I hope there is one thing you took from this entire video that you're like, cool, I can action this today. I can action it this week. Just don't wait too long to action it. There's a lot of different things when it comes to entrepreneurship. So are you building a business? Are you freelancing, just working contract? Do you feel more comfortable working part-time? I personally don't want to see another W-2 in my life unless I'm writing it to myself. If you know, you know. There's a lot of different things that you can do. What does this look like? So what are some options for you? I'm trying to use different colors here, but I think I've used them all. That's okay. So you can build a business. You can be a content creator, right? I kind of did both of these. Not kind of, I did. I'm a content creator. And I built a business off of it because I realized I was getting so many people coming to me that I'm like, wow, this is a legitimate business. I can help people market, I can consult, I can create content for them, I can do a little bit of everything. This is awesome. So there's those. You can just freelance your skills, or you can find part-time gigs while you figure everything else out, because you can do part-time, freelance, content creator, whatever it is, because the content creator could be, you want to just get sponsorships. Maybe you're in the fitness world. I bring that up a lot because it's the world that I was in for the longest. So to me, that made sense for a little bit. And then I wanted to build a business. I wanted to talk more. I wanted to teach. I wanted to provide value. I want other people to be free and understand that anyone can do it. So if you don't know much about my personal life, I am a single mom. I've been a single mom for 7 years, okay? Very long time, nearly my child's entire life. And so that was my biggest fear when exiting my job, was the fear that I would not be able to take care of him, that, I have to be in a stable position. And now I am more stable than ever before in doing things that I love. So that stuff matters. That's why I'm giving you all these different options, hoping that it provides some value and that someone out there is going through the same thing that I did. And I want you to know that you can freaking do it. You can do it. Okay. And you don't just have to pick one of these, building a business, content creator, whatever. It can be a combination of them. There is no rule when it comes to this. Just layer them strategically. And then just remember, when you go back, we have to show up, we have to self-educate, and we have to make sure that we continue to love it. We want to love what we do, okay? If you don't love it, you're not gonna stick with it. Easy as that. All right, in closing, the real way to make money while you build your own thing is to absolutely make sure your baseline expenses are covered with something else that you're doing. So freelance, contract, whatever that is, make sure your mortgage, your medical, everything is covered and set before you jump, because one of the biggest mistakes people make is jumping too soon from their job or waiting too long. And for me, it was waiting too long, but I was able to build a bigger financial cushion. So don't get caught on either end of the spectrum. Just be ready to go, have that cushion, feel good. You're gonna feel the fear, but it's gonna be the most exhilarating thing you do, because at the end of the day, it's not just about quitting your job. You are earning and building freedom. You have the freedom of your time, your energy, and your money. So thank you for being here again on the Little Fit Patriot channel. I love you guys. Let's be free.
You think you're funny, do ya?